Dr. Melanie Keller specializes in the treatment of SIBO and associated conditions. She participated in the development of the 2014 and 2015 SIBO Symposiums and was a practitioner here in Portland of the SIBO Center. Dr. Keller currently practices at Pure Health, Beverly Hills in California. She's a board member of the Gastro AMP and a mastermind member of Seeking Health Education Institute. Dr. Keller co-authored the 2014 Townsend Letter article, The Importance and Relevance of IBS in the Female Patient, and is an NCNM alumna. Dr. Keller's evidence-based approach includes how genetics and epigenetics are influenced by environmental toxins and microbial dysbiosis. Please give a warm welcome to Dr. Keller.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for still being here, and I appreciate your time and attention in advance. So what I'm referring to is we noticed over the weekend, the first day, what else can be going on. Okay, so that's really one of the things that I struggle with a lot. I have a complicated patient base, and so what I'm looking at is how is in the environment affecting the gut, and hopefully this will work. And I thought this cartoon was pretty telling because, and again, I will actually comment that a majority of the people that I am working with have these pristine diets, okay? So what I'm actually referring to is just living on the planet and breathing air here. So what I see is a kaleidoscope. And so what I mentioned that last year, and there are some specific things that I've honed in on more, and we've talked a lot about risk factors. Specific risk factors that I, of course, look into are surgeries, and Clear Passage is right after me to show the benefits of, I'm assessing that first. Have they had abdominal surgeries? Have they had a cesarean section? There's some more to that, of course, right? That can complicate issues. Then we also have the connective tissue, what I call spectrum, and I have seen some Ehlers-Danlos. I made a comment about a geneticist actually in Bend, who's actually really helpful with saying that we can assess that via the Brighton criteria. And so that was actually pretty helpful in a few cases. Then dental, and I appreciate Dr. Weinstock brought it up, and Dr. Sandberg-Lewis also mentioned that I see a strong correlation with dental history. Perhaps they've had an implant, they're getting a root canal, and so that's actually on my intake form, when was your last dental visit, and do you have any more planned? Because I can see some significant changes there. And thankfully, I've had the opportunity with one case in particular where she's also a patient at Cedars, and she has had a spot breath test directly after some of her dental work, and it was over 120 parts per million. And this was actually for hydrogen. Okay, so more commonly, they're looking at methane, but in this case, we requested that we get a spot hydrogen test. So when that comes to methane, the infamous methane, I see what, and I believe Dr. Pimentel referred to this as well, what I call an iceberg. So sometimes, and that's generally because I'm seeing both hydrogen and methane, and I see these patterns that happen. One goes up, one goes down, and then there's a process until the methane will finally go down. And I actually thought that Dr. Sandberg-Lewis displayed that in his first case, where I could really see that, and it actually kind of followed the patternings that I typically see, so that was nice to see. When we mentioned about, I look at organic acid metabolites, some of the things we talked about with regeneration in the enteric nervous system, I actually find a really high nutrition requirement for carnitine, alpha-lipoic acid, biotin. So we talked about those things yesterday. And right now I'm looking at phosphatidylcholine and kind of bringing that back in also in terms of aiding motility and supporting the gut. I definitely take a look at genetic polymorphisms. I typically see quite a bit of MTHFR, more specifically compound heterozygous, but I also see people who have difficulty processing their vitamin D. And when we're already struggling with a malabsorption situation, that's something that I want to also track, because I surprisingly was also introduced to the parathyroid recently as I was trying to raise somebody's vitamin D up, and I was monitoring their calcium. So what was interesting in that case is that they actually had a primary, they actually did have a tumor, and they also had secondary due to malabsorption. So that was a really interesting case to work with that surgeon in Florida.